Hi everybody, it's Geordie from Geordie's Cards here for Heffy Doodle today, and I am creating a fun little one-layer card with some masking today. I'm really enjoying making these kind of simpler cards at the moment, and it's been a lot of fun. So I am using the Quack Me Up stamp set here. I do have the coordinating dies for them, but I will just be using the stamps. As I say, I'm going to be doing some masking. And then I have the Heffy Doodle Mini Scalloped Imperial Rectangle dies. I'm going to be using that second largest one there, which I have used to cut out this piece of white cardstock. So I stamped out all of my images and I used some masks to mask them off. And now I'm going to do some ink blending. So I have some of the Heffy Doodle Memo tape here, which I'm going to use to mask off certain areas of my card front here, so that I can create a little bit of an inked background. So I am going to mask off the top and the bottom, and then I'm going to get one more piece of masking tape. I am just trying to be careful that I've got everything straight. So I was trying to count the number of scallops, and I was like looking at it and it didn't look straight, and I pulled it up and I tried again. I was counting the scallops and I was like, yeah, it's definitely right. Same on each side. I'm just double checking. But yeah, eventually I was like, yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to pull out one more piece of masking tape and I'm going to use it to mask off a piece of ground down here where that puddle area is. So once I'm happy with that, I'm going to pull out some ink, and I'm using the Concord and 9th Dove ink, which is a kind of lightish grey colour. And I'm just going to kind of roughly go over that masked off area at the bottom there. I want this to look like a bit of pavement, so that my little duck here looks like he's walking along the pavement with all the puddles on it. And it's quite fitting because it has been raining quite heavily in the UAE today, and we're expecting more rain tomorrow, which is quite unusual for us. I live in the desert, so rain is not a normal everyday occurrence. So it's kind of a novelty for us, and yeah, there's been quite a lot of rain, and hence the reason, sorry, I should apologise, that my lighting has been a little bit off today because it's quite dark outside and cloudy. So as I say, very unusual for us. Okay, so next up I've moved that mask down to cover that pavement area, and I'm going in here with some cracked pistachio distress ink, and I'm just kind of going roughly over the background fairly lightly. And once that is done, I'm going to be doing some cloud stenciling on top. But I just wanted to create a little base of that colour first, and then I'm going to pull out my cloud stencil here and add some more of that colour, kind of more concentrated, to create the clouds. Now I kind of like having that base of it down first, so it's a little bit more subtle and not quite so stark as going direct onto the white paper, if that makes sense. So I just like the way that this looked. It's a little bit softer, and I do like this cracked pistachio ink for skies. I know it's kind of a greenish kind of ink, but I do kind of like it. It's just something slightly different to your average normal blue, and I thought given that it's a cloudy day, then it could be a slightly different coloured cloud. Okay, so I'm just finishing up the ink blending of that here. I'll add just a touch more at the bottom just to smooth it all out. And then comes the fun part of moving all the masks, which I always enjoy doing because it's like a little bit of magic. So there's my little pavement, my cloudy sky, and I can start peeling off the masks of my little images here as well to get those nice stamped areas underneath. So I'm using my tweezers to help me a little bit here. And I will save those masks because you can reuse them 2 or 3 times, and it saves you recutting them each time you want to do some masking. I don't do masking a huge amount, but as I say, I've really kind of been enjoying doing some flatter, more kind of clean and simple cards lately, so maybe I'll be doing some more. So there's my little fun image, and it's all ready to colour in. So before I do that, I wanted to add a few little details. So my umbrella, I initially stamped it so it looked like the umbrella stand was kind of going behind the duck's wings. I decided I didn't like that, so I just added kind of the handle in there. And then I just added a little kind of ring around his neck because I want to turn my duck into a mallard duck. So I kind of wanted that little ring there so it looks like he's got his little green head, and then the rest of his body is going to be brown. So I am using my Ohuhu markers here today, and I'm holding them up to the camera there, so hopefully you can see which colours I am using. So I went with a nice kind of bright green, emerald green kind of colour for his head. I'm using some darker brown markers on his neck and the base of his wings, and then I'll go in with a lighter kind of brown colour combination for the rest of his body. And I did have a quick Google of what a mallard duck looked like, because I knew they had a green head, but I couldn't quite remember the rest of them. So had a quick look on Google to give me some ideas of colour combinations, and this is what I came up with, and I think they turned out pretty good. I did go over those lighter brown colours a couple of times because they did kind of wash out some of the other colour, particularly using that WG01, I believe it is, so it makes it a little bit paler. So normally when I'm colouring a duck or a bird, I would probably do the beak and the feet in the same colour combinations. But what I noticed when I Googled it was that the duck's beak was a lot yellower than its feet, which were quite orange. So I decided to use that kind of colour combination here, and I added in a more orange kind of foot to him rather than using the same colour for beak and feet. And I think it looks quite sweet. Obviously, you don't have to go this detailed, but I just thought it was fun. Next up, I'm going to colour in the puddle here. And again, I'm going for that more kind of tealy bluish green colour combination rather than a straight blue. I wanted it to kind of tie in a little bit more with the sky up there. So just using a bit more of that kind of aqua colour rather than a straight blue. I'll colour in the puddle and those little drips that I've stamped where he looks like he's kind of stomping in the puddle. Once the puddle and the little drips are done, I just have the umbrella left to do. So I decided to do a rather bright umbrella. So I'm using some kind of grey markers to look like a silver handle. And then I was thinking about the colour combination for the umbrella, because obviously it's a little bear. And I thought about doing like a panda. I thought about doing a brown bear. In the end, I decided just to go completely off the scale and you do a yellow umbrella. I just wanted a really nice bright pop of colour to really brighten up this card and make it a little bit more fun. So I decided to go for a yellow colour combination. But you could really go to town with this little umbrella. I think it's lots of fun. Rainbow colours would be super cute as well. But I do think a little panda would be quite a fun one to do. But yeah, as I say, decided to go with yellow for my one. So once the little umbrella is done, I realised I hadn't pulled out a pink marker to do kind of the inside of his ears. So I did hunt around for a pink marker. I did use one of the same browns for his little nose, and I ended up pulling out quite a bright pink, but I think it works quite nicely. So I used it for his little ears and to add some cheeks to that little umbrella. Once that was done, I pulled out my Sakura white jelly roll pen here. This is the 08 size, so it's kind of like a medium sized, I would say. And I'm just going to add some white gel pen details all over my little image here. I realised that I hadn't coloured the very top of my umbrella, so I just grabbed that grey marker to fill that in, and then I'll carry on with my white gel pen details. So I did try to add a kind of little like a little splash ring kind of around where his little foot is in the puddle. It's just a little added extra to kind of make it look like the water is moving where he's kind of jumped in it there. Again, I'm never quite sure where to put my gel pen, but I just kind of go with the flow and have a bit of fun with it. I don't think it's a huge deal. If it doesn't look quite perfect, I think it's okay. But there he is, my little finished duck, and I think he's so super cute. So off camera, I did go ahead and stamp that sentiment, which comes from the same stamp set. It says, "You really quack me up," and I just thought that was really sweet. I have a standard sized 5.5 by 4.25 white card base, and I have this lovely bright yellow plaid paper here, which I'm going to use to pop down on top of my card base. And I have just left a 1/16 of an inch all the way around that, just for that little white border to show through. Once that is down, all that's left to do is to attach my card front down on top. I'm using some foam tape to do that, just to pop it up and add a little bit of added dimension to what is otherwise a pretty simple, clean card. But I really love how it turned out. It's so super fun, and that nice bright pop of yellow really brings it to life. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope it inspires you to try out some masking yourself on one of your cards. Thank you so much for joining me today. As always, please do give this one a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please feel free to leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. And please do subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you come back and join me again. Thanks everyone. Take care.